Did you ever toss yourself into the crunchy patches of grass outside, or sit on the gray concrete of your driveway to just stare at the sky in all its awe, counting the clouds as they roll by passively, or when containing the raw power of water to rain from above? Perhaps we all did, in one way or another. For me, it was sitting on the rooftop early in the AM or late after the sun had retreated from its duties to this side of the world. On occasion, the thought would float before me. I wondered if a ship would pass by and swoop me up, take me far, far away from Earth. But this Texas boy mostly thought of flight, via airplane or as the heroes and capes from the books we read, the movies we saw, or the games we played them in. It was always the ultimate superpower for me, one I'd use to explore the world and maybe, hopefully, help people. But growing older has had me daydreaming about using flight as a way to escape everything. The last 5 years of my life has been turbulent, to say the least. Loss of a job, loved ones, changing jobs, frustration in school, and just the dramas and problems of being an adult. Nothing that special. My savings were hemorrhaging by the mundanity of bills and all of those responsibilities, all while trying, albeit with little enthusiasm, to change things. That meant sacrificing the little things in life. Regular dinner outings with friends, theater going, just buying stuff for the heck of it. Netflix, and eventually internet access. At the time, the last games I played online were Evolve and The Last of Us Factions, which is really, really good by the way. But then it had to be cut. The next few months would be spent orbiting many single-player games, then landing to explore and immerse myself in them. Multiplayer and the social aura of it all was behind me. And while it may sound dramatic now, I couldn't assure myself that I'd ever be online again, at least for a while. But it was easier than I expected to embrace a type of disconnect from the online world, because at some point, even phone service was out of the picture. And it turned into this weird sensation, this amalgamation of isolation, enjoyment, being lost despite knowing that it wouldn't be experienced taken in with company, with friends by my side. And when the moment came that life returned to its mundane state, Overwatch had been out for a few months. The taste of it had reached my lips via its console beta, which I played at a friend's place and enjoyed quite a bit. Overwatch reminded me of Team Fortress 2, Battlefield, Evolve, all class-based games I was a sucker for playing healer or support in, and this first-person shooter from Blizzard was no exception. So locking Mercy made sense. I tried my college best to seem as if I actually knew what I was doing as Mercy. To be fair, the role is simple. Heal, damage boost, and bam, you're an asset to the team. But sometimes I felt helpless when a match ended up hurling down from the heavens instead of ascending to victory. Despite not being at the front of the team, leading as a tank into battle with DPS en suite, hopefully helping to achieve our goal of securing point A or moving the payload, I strived to validate myself and embrace the role of keeping everybody alive. And those first few victories were a powerful whirlwind of emotion. Communication, teamwork, success. This was missed from my early days online. It was a perfect storm of adrenaline shooting down like lightning, resurrecting 1, 2, 4, the full team with Mercy's original ultimate, while being targeted by the jittery Tracer or the hopeful Hanzo and the purpose of his arrows. Playing Mercy, being Mercy, is a dance, a constant to and fro, with moments of floating too close to the sun, and dangerously so, with the possibility of never returning. I still had a lot to learn, and planned on doing so, because at that point, nothing else in my life was meaningful. There was no mirror of that communication, teamwork, success in the real world for me. So if it wasn't something present in my life, I sure as hell was going to try an Overwatch. My freshman effort was in competitive Season 4, and that reign was perpetual. I'd play night and day when not at the job I resent, even now. It was a grind, one that hadn't slipped into my heart and its desires for a long time. At that initiation, my plan was, once back online, dabbling in the multiplayer warfronts would be momentary, with then against the angsty teen picking away at the tanks as Reaper in all his intimacy, or the overworked 35-year-old looking for some positivity in the online arenas, hoping it'll make them feel alive for a bit, satisfaction that was built up and not given. But 125 hours later, it was increasingly evident that my time in the skies of all the beautiful, stunning locations the team would be deployed across gave me the desire to be competitive, to better myself in a sense, while learning to work together with people that I was unlikely to work with again past the match we'd either win or lose. There were many moments that success and worth came together in harmony. For example, within the last hour or so of competitive Season 4, only a single win was needed to reach Diamond, and the team landed on Watchpoint Gibraltar, which until that point had made me very nervous to play on, especially on defense. Thankfully, we were on the attack, and my team was a chatty bunch. And keeping to myself, these folks were looking at my career stats. This resulted in a call-out. "Hey Mercy, you're close, too close. We'll get you there." Then I responded with a thanks and that I'd do my best to keep everyone alive. There's no video of this, but mark my words, we won, cheered, and I reached borderline Diamond as the hand struck the end of Season 4. There were also fun moments like this.
Stuff. What's in this? End it. Lost. Too many. Got her. Damn it. Shit. Thank you. Mercy's the real MVP. Let's go. Yes.
What's also beautiful is how we can all communicate, sometimes without saying a word from speaking into our headset microphones, out of the shyness or sheer terror of interaction. There's a language there, specific terminology, one learned after continuous practice at the sticks. I could be 100% wrong, but it's fascinating trying to figure this stuff out, observing and experimenting, learning from it. I've had teammates who were obviously throwing the game, or legitimately trying to improve themselves against the team at times, which they're aware of, but I'll pay attention to them, heal them when asked or not asked. There have been moments where I genuinely believe I've had them switch naturally to a hero more suitable for the map, situation, or team composition, because we're all trying and displaying sportsmanship. This can be anyone, and isn't exclusive to a specific hero. Understanding and compromise are hard, but achievable. It's intoxicating in the absolute best way possible. Of course, this isn't always the case. Many matches are lost, and the occurrence of the rise and fall is ever present. That's just the way it was, and continues to be, kind of like life. We're going to make mistakes, and either learn from them or not, strive to grow to reach the stars, or stay grounded with no room to flutter. A bit like life. You and I aren't going to win every match. Not all of our teammates are going to do well or work with us, and sometimes, a lot of times, we'll get outplayed by our betters. Reminds me of the real world. The salt rises, toxicity happens, and you fight the good fight against it, or join them. Since takeoff from Season 4 to late flight Season 17, Overwatch has been an undeniable staple of my life, constantly seeking improvement, acceptance, and positive reinforcement, while also giving it to people looking for the same, or to those that probably need it most, down on their luck or seeking some kind of redemption, no matter how toxic, and regardless of how the success is reached. Overwatch is watered, fed, and kept alive by a diverse pool of players, which is a mirror of the real world. I wouldn't have it any other way. Now, I'm not going to sit here and rant about buffs, nerfs, or any kind of changes, because it's all pointless. I had to adapt. I needed to adapt, or be left out in the cold. Just like life. What I'm trying to say is that despite being an adult with problems that need fixing, it took a game that had bedded himself into my being to help me see this clearly. So let's revisit something said earlier. If I can't get communication, teamwork, success in real life, I'll get it in Overwatch? Sure, but I should learn to apply that in real life too. Somewhere, the realization arrived that healing is my calling, because I want to keep my teammates alive, keep my friends alive, in hopes of wanting to keep myself alive, when that's not always my desire. Remember that cool pool of players from around the world? Well, I may not have necessarily attached myself to people from across the country or the globe in playing Overwatch, but somehow my small but incredible group of friends managed to integrate and mold themselves together. Lifelong friends meeting work friends, some of whom I've known since 2011, then a college classmate of a childhood friend from another town about 130 miles away, becoming someone integral in my social life and honestly in general. He's one heck of a flex player, the real MVP who was also a killer sombra when you need him to be.
Fuck you, Tracer.
Overwatch strengthened my relationship with someone who I'll just say is my cousin, who I've been close with all my life. Much like I mentioned before, there are gaps in friendship, in the routine communication, but never in loyalty. We reconnected in a way that makes me pretty happy. Partners in crime to the end of time and the edges of the skies. We'll do work as a duo in concert with the rest of the team, or push as a Winston with Mercy pocketing deep into unknown airspace where our opponents glide with sinister intent. Or not, because they're probably thinking the same that we are, that I am. All this is a step in the right direction, the ideal flight path to my destination, wherever that may be. It'll take time, just like Overwatch took time. Overwatch feels like home. There's a certain warmth of the play screen with the 4 options of quick play, arcade, competitive, and game browser. It's just meant to be. My group and I are family in sense, and sometimes, a lot of times, we're in harmony. This makes me feel alive, and it gives me the want, the need to feel alive always. One of my favorite lines from Mercy is, "You really should take better care of yourself." It's passive-aggressive, but a good reminder. It's time to take better care of myself, Dr. Ziegler. If you're wondering why flight was mentioned so prominently in this video, well, it's simple. It's the best feeling, exploring, helping myself, helping others. Thank you for watching this video. Stay safe and be good to each other.